never knew how worthy you really were. Think about what it's going to be like. We're in the very presence of God for the very first time in heaven, completely free from this world and sin. I got a feeling I'm going to look into his face and I'm going to go, I had no idea. I would have done so many things different if I'd have known how worthy you are. So here's how we need to live different coming out of this. Because everyone counts. Because everyone should be a worshiper of our God. And we've all, like what Mark said the first week, we've all been called to be missionaries. It's not just the people who like to camp in tents. All of us are missionaries. And God's heart is for the poor and the broken. And we need to be about that. And we need to be agents of change because he is worthy. Our God is worthy. So here are the three things that we want to challenge you to do. Give, go, and learn. It's in your notes. Give, go, learn. You are the richest people on the planet. Tom talked about last week. If you were making more than $10,000 a year, you are the high income of the world. And we're going to have to give account to God for what we did with what he given us. Give. And we're doing this thing, we've been doing this whole journey to awareness and getting ready for us to give to the Village of Hope in Uganda. And this morning we're giving you an opportunity to do that. But go beyond just giving today and going through this journey to awareness. For the rest of your life, look at what is it I'm supposed to do with my finances. I've always tithed since I was a kid. That's just part of what I did. You know, it's just you put the 10% aside, and that's just what I did growing up. And it wasn't until later in my life that somebody said to me, hey, Steve, you have grown in your faith in so many areas in so many ways. I mean, you look at this and look at this and look at this and what you're doing here, but you're still only tithing 10%. Why haven't you grown in that? I'm like, because I don't have to. Why would I do that? I like money, lots and lots of money. I want the pie in the sky. And I was like, oh, I guess that's probably not the best attitude to have. And then the guy was talking to me, he's like, yeah, you've grown in every way, in every area but that. So what are you going to do? I was like, all right. So my wife and I, we give 10%, but then this is what we've done is we just have found other things that we want to be about, supporting missionaries, sponsoring kids, just different things that we're doing, that we have money that we put aside to do that. It's a priority for us. And then what's left, we spend on stuff that we need for us or want for us. But it's become a priority for us in our finances to say, yeah, we're going to be a part of what God's doing in the church, and we're going to be part of what God's doing all over the world as well. So think about that. What does that look like for you? To put money aside so that it's available for whatever God puts on your heart. And maybe you want to give to the Bay Life Missions Fund, and that can just be part of what you do because we continue to support the Village of Hope in Uganda, and we're doing other things. You can give to that, or you can find a cause that you want to be committed to. Maybe you want to see wells put into areas where people have no access to clean water, and so you want to partner with a Christian organization that's doing that, so that then when people come and get water at a well for the very first time, there's a pastor there saying, do you want to thirst no more? Because I have something that I can give to you where you will never thirst again. And you could be a part of people finally finding their satisfaction in God in that way. Maybe you want to see Bibles get translated. Find an organization that's doing that. Give resources to that. Find something. Do something that you care about. Get a compassion kid. Do something with your money and give. The other thing we want to see is that we all just go. That we go. We need, all of us, at some point in our lives, need to go and see poverty. You should. It'll change you. When I was in Africa last summer, there was a pastor that said to me, Steve, you've heard before that you can love God by loving the poor. And I said, yeah, I know. You know, Matthew 25, God's identification with the poor. It talks about in other verses too, God's identification with the poor. We can love God by loving the poor. He's like, yeah. I said, but have you ever thought about this? You can better get to know and understand God by getting to know the poor? No, I've never thought about that before. I know a lot of people, a lot of us in church, we want to go deeper. We want to learn more about our faith. Let me tell you this. If you want to go deeper in your faith, you want to know a great way you can do it? Get to know the poor. Literally, get to know them. Find out what's going on in their life. Find out their struggles. Find out what gets them excited. Find out what their story is like when it comes to God. Get to know the poor. And in your times, in your interactions with the poor, you will better get to know and understand who God is and what his heart is like. You see grace and mercy in a whole new light. You see love and compassion in a whole new way. You want to go deeper? You want to know God? Know the poor. So go. Get involved in a Metropolitan Ministry, Echo, work with the Women's Resource Center. Go on a trip and go see the poor. It's here locally, and it's totally different on the other in other parts outside of our country. So go. See what poverty really is about. Understand the prayers that God hears from them. And the other thing is we just want you to learn. Keep learning. You're not done in this journey. There's so much more to know and to learn. For 5 years, God's been just teaching me stuff and showing me stuff, and it's changing who I am. It's changing how I live. For me, this whole thing and understanding this isn't just a thing where I go, yeah, I should do something about that, and then not change. In this process, I've been changing because of this journey I've been on where I've been learning and just seeking God and understanding what's going on in the rest of the world. Here's some things that you can do to learn. We kind of put them in the notes. There's some different books that you can be reading. There's different videos you can make yourself aware of, and just some great things that you can be studying in the Bible. Do a study in the Bible. Do like a word search for poverty, poor, widow, orphan, needy, justice, injustice. You will be shocked and amazed at what the Bible has to say about this. Here's this book. It's Not Okay with Me, by Janine Maxwell. I read this book last year at Christmas, and it ruined my Christmas. It really did. Holidays were not as good last year as normally. This is about a lady who is a CEO of a marketing company in Canada, and it tells her story about what happened in her life just by going on a mission trip and seeing poverty and looking at what the Bible has to say about it. This is an incredible book. Since I've read it, I've been trying to get it in the hands of as many people as I possibly can, because her story and her journey should be the journey that all of us take in our walk and in our faith with Christ. So definitely get this one. Another one that I put in there, Crazy Love, by this guy Francis Chan. He's a pastor out of California. This book talks about the invitation that we've been given to be in a love relationship with Christ and what that looks like, to live that out, especially when it comes to having a heart for the least of these. I don't know if you've heard of the movie Invisible Children. Buy it and watch it. It really helps you understand more of what this whole thing that we're doing with the Village of Hope Uganda. It's a documentary that some guys filmed about these kids who are running from the LRA. We're going to play a video at Elevate in a couple weeks called Glue Boys, and this is about kids who are orphans or just runaways in Africa, and they end up on the streets, and they become addicted to sniffing glue. And the reason why is because they are cold and hungry and have a terrible, terrible life. And when they sniff the glue, it takes away the hunger, it helps them sleep through the cold, and it helps them forget that they had to watch their parents die because of AIDS. We're going to spend some time watching that Elevate. You're invited to come if you want to come and see that. Educate yourself. Continue to learn what's going on in the world. Continue to understand what God's heart is and why he cares so much about himself and why he cares so much about people and helping them become worshipers, especially those who are the least.